Welcome to our monthly copywriting clinic for August. I'm Kara, your copywriting clinic navigator, I suppose you could call me. Agnieszka is going to be joining us shortly. She had an awesome big client that she landed and had a meeting that was overlapping with this one. So she'll be joining us in the next 15-20 minutes or so. I told her I think that we can handle it without her for this first little part. I think we'll survive. But excited for her to join us. So I do have a little bit of a game plan. Let me go through my, I always like to just kind of give a little primer on what the clinic is and how we roll here. So a copywriting clinic, opportunity to learn, practice, and get tips on copywriting while also getting real-time feedback on your projects. We typically meet the second Friday of each month. With the busy summer and stuff, I've had to do a little bit of schedule changes. And in fact, I'll make a note for you guys for next month. On the second Friday, I'm going to be visiting my mom. So I'm going to go ahead and postpone it for probably the week after. But I'll make sure that it's in the calendar correctly, and I'll put out an announcement prior to that. Primary rule in the clinic is be excellent to each other, be respectful. You're invited to bring all the projects that you're working on, get your real-time feedback to ensure that we get to everyone in a timely manner. And usually I have this kind of caveat when we will have like a big group and we have tons of stuff to get through. I'll usually put like a time limit on it. Usually when we have a smaller group like this or not a ton of stuff to go through, the time limit doesn't really matter. And so sometimes we'll end up spending up to 45 minutes on looking and analyzing one project. Just depends, but it's casual get together and we all have a lot of fun. You're all encouraged to unmute, share your thoughts and opinions. Also, you can utilize the Zoom chat to share copy ideas as we start to look through various things. Oh, and one thing I've been meaning to put a caveat on is sometimes we have potty mouths here. So if you have your speakers on with little ones in the background, might want to change that. Just sometimes we get a little uncensored in here. So it's nice to put that little warning out there. All right, so my plan for today was I'd love to just get a kind of a temperature check of the room, see if anybody came here with something you're liking feedback on, and as well as I prepared a little casual lesson for us today that we're going to explore some components of email marketing. And I'll be excited for Agnieszka to join that conversation as well. She's got a ton of knowledge and experience to share with us and that we can pull from. And our small group here, did anybody come today with something that you're going to be wanting some feedback on? Oh, Elise, yay, awesome. I'm glad you're here. Cool. So what we can do is let me just kind of get a gauge of the room. Should we go through the email marketing lesson first, or should we go through looking at what you brought today, Elise? Do you have a preference?
I would love to go through the lesson first. My feedback that I want something on is, so I was tasked of writing an email the other day for my friend and someone I've done lots of work for in the past, and I do mostly design work for her. But I also might have another client who needs help with email marketing and writing. So I just want to make sure that I have a good idea of making strong copy. So that's what I wanted feedback on, was my email that I wrote. And then I think that would be perfect after what awesome. You're presenting today. So
that sounds great.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. Well, then why don't we just dive into it? Let me go ahead and get my sheet up, and I'll share with you guys the link to the Google Doc that I started for this, because if you'd like, you can download this. This is the handout that I created. Zoom doesn't let me send files in the Zoom chat, so normally I would send this over as a PDF, but this is just a little bit easier. So I'm putting this into our chat, and you can all feel free to download that, follow along however you'd like. And let's get into it. All right. So I wanted to just kind of put together a primer on promotional emails, nurture emails, transactional emails, newsletters, and just kind of distinguishing the differences between each one. There are basic tips that are going to be universal that are appropriate for all of the emails. And then there's also, each type of email does require like a specific approach. So that's kind of what I wanted to go ahead and dig into today. So just kind of getting like really ground level, just talking about the different kinds of emails. So I'm going to start on my list with nurture emails, or these can be called value-based emails. These are just kind of like what the name implies. You're providing value without asking for anything in return. You're nurturing the relationship that you're gaining with your clients. So typically, these will come up after, say, you create a lead magnet, and then you have people sign up for your lead magnet, download the lead magnet, they get their welcome email, but then what? Then what happens after the welcome email? You need to nurture them along the buyer journey. And so, we've talked about, I can go through it if we need to, but we've talked a lot about the stages of awareness. Is anyone here, would you like me to do a little run through on the stages of awareness? Anybody here not familiar? Heard me talk about these before? Yes, excellent. So the stages of awareness, and in fact, I wonder if I have my graphic up here. This is going to make things so much easier. I have a graphic I can show you guys. Let me just get the appropriate folder up. Bear with me just a moment. And so close. And 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, let me reshare my screen here. Okay, so the stages of awareness. So this is everyone that's coming through on a buyer journey, and coming into contact with your brand or your service. There's these stages of awareness that they have to go through before they're going to be ready to make a purchase. They go in order. Sometimes someone will go through these fairly quickly. Sometimes you can have one long form sales page that takes them right from this early stage all the way up to most aware. But you can't skip over anything. And this is kind of goes back to like that concept of the analogy of using marketing as dating, right? And so you're not going to ask somebody to marry you on the first date. Kind of get a little creepy if you start getting into that a little bit too fast. So this is like the stages of awareness. So we'll just kind of run through these. So it goes from, unaware into most aware. So the unaware stage is just like what it sounds. They are unaware of the problem that you're trying to solve. They're unaware of your solution, unaware of your products. They're just totally unaware. Most of the time, you're going to be finding people that are in the problem aware stage. And so they are aware that there is a problem, but they don't know what the solutions are yet. They don't know what products are out there to help solve their problem. So let's see, what's an example that I've used in the past? Cat litter, because this was something that I went through myself with our cat and changing into cat litter. So for years and years, we used just really, really cheap clay litter. And for all those years, was pretty unaware that this was, even a problem. And then just, I started to learn more things. There's a few things. I started to notice all of the trail of awful litter that was just getting tracked all around the house. And then started to learn that the clay litter is actually really bad for cats because they'll end up licking it, end up ingesting it, and it just does bad things to their insides. So I started to learn about this, which means I became problem aware that there was a problem. And then I started to, because I'm aware of the problem, started to notice different solutions coming up. And so that's where I started to see different kinds of litter and different other solutions to helping to solve this problem. So started kind of shopping around, just exploring what kind of other options for cat litter that there were, and then started to learn about this one particular litter. It's like a high value litter called Pretty Litter that not only does it, it doesn't clump, it doesn't, track all over the place, but it actually changes color. It's a health monitoring glitter. So it actually changes color based on what's going on inside your cat's body. And it helps give, like, and our cat's getting old, so it helps gives indications on if there's going to be a medical problem coming up. So this is where I became product aware of a product. And once I got to this stage, all I needed was to just get all of the information. I'm ready for you to tell me all of the information, tell me all the costs, all the prices, tell me, all of the features and all the benefits of this product so that I can know if I want to make an informed decision. And then that leads me into the most aware stage where then I'm ready to take action. So how we can use this in our marketing is being really conscious of what stage of awareness our prospects are in when they come to us. So this is usually, like, in these early stages, this is top of the funnel. So this is where you're going to be creating your lead magnets. You're going to be, creating your initial advertisements just to try and get them into your funnel, let them know about the problem, speak to them about a problem they might be experiencing, and trying to, offer some solutions. And then we're trying to guide them. And so this is where email marketing can be really powerful, is we're guiding them along through each stage of awareness. So they get their resource from us, and now we can use, like, our nurture sequences, for example, our follow-up nurture emails, to start letting them know of different solutions that are out there. Start getting them just a little bit more informed. And then when they're ready, when you've really primed them, you've really gotten them to, like, a good spot where they're ready to click on your link and look at your landing page. The landing page, this is where you're basically able to take them through all these stages all at once. Like a long form sales page is really powerful in that way, where you would start up at the top by communicating what the problem is they're experiencing. There's that wonderful formula in copywriting of PAS, problem, agitation, solution. So telling, sharing empathy about the problem, agitating that problem a little bit, and then presenting them with possible solutions. And then they become aware, then you introduce them to what your product or your service is, guiding them into product aware. And then this is where the majority of a sales page is going to be speaking to people in this stage of awareness. You're giving them everything that they need to know. You're trying to ease all of their concerns, and you're trying to give them all the information that they need to know. So everything involved in your product or service, all of the costs, all the benefits, everything that they're going to get, so that you can lead them into this final stage where they are ready to take action. So there are, I'll close this part up with just by saying, like, there are instances where, people are already in the product aware or most aware stage, and they're just like, they get onto the internet, like, ready to make a purchase. And that's where, honestly, things like, I hate Google, but Google ads, that would be an appropriate example to use for speaking to a customer that's in that product aware or most aware stage. Like when someone's going to Google or start page or to a search engine, they're coming there with a specific purpose. So when they're searching on there, they're ready to make a decision. They just need maybe just a little extra push, and they're ready to go. So the most of our work as copywriters is in these middle 3 stages of awareness, and that's where most of our focus is on. Okay, I'm going to bring us back on over here. Whoops, not that one. All right, so now that we have that baseline understanding of the stages of awareness, we can use that to understand where to leverage all these different kinds of emails. So as I talked about with the nurture emails, that's going to be your follow-up sequence where you're nurturing the relationship. You're building trust with your audience. So you're providing value, you're offering testimonials, you're offering, tips and resources. And then, in a follow-up sequence, there's a rule of thumb, a general rule of thumb I like to follow, that's 75% nurture emails and 25% promotional emails. If we were selling in every single email, that's one of those things where, all right, you just went on a date with this guy and now he's like pushing for you to do the deed or pushing to put that ring on your finger, and you're gonna ditch that guy pretty quick. So this is, really the same concept. We're trying to build a relationship, nurture that relationship so that, there's trust built. And then when you do present them with an offer, they're a lot more likely, not a guarantee, but they're a lot more likely to be receptive to your offer. The newsletters, we're all pretty familiar with what a newsletter is, but we're going to go through it. So these are basically another form of value-based emails. And as the name suggests, Newsletters are intended to share, news updates. You can link to articles or videos, personal stories, upcoming events. There's lots of different things that you can do with a newsletter, and a way to kind of, a good way to distinguish, because it's amazing. It's easy to confuse sometimes newsletters with regular promotional emails, because usually newsletters, they're kind of like a blend of all in a way. You can like break a lot of little copywriting rules, like the rule of one in a newsletter, where typically in an email or anything that you're writing in copy, there's the rule of one. I'll just interject for a minute. If you hear little sounds in the background, as most of you know, my office doubles as my kitchen, and so my partner is cooking breakfast right now. Just ignore any crackling sounds in the background. It's just the stove. Continuing on.
Sarah, what's the rule of one?
Thank you. So the rule of one in copywriting is essentially one goal per piece of writing that you're doing. So for every email that you write, which will be an exception here in a moment, for the most part, every email that you write, there should be one goal in mind. One goal, one link for them to click, one thing for them to do. So when you sit down to write, especially like a promotional email, you want to keep in mind, what is that one thing that you want them to do when they go through and read your email, and focus on that. When you start to put too many things in, people don't know what you want them to do, and they're probably not going to do what you want them to do if you give them too many options. There could be that paralysis by analysis as well. And same concept when we're talking about landing pages, especially, is the rule of one. When you're writing a landing page or a sales page for a product or a service, there is one goal for that whole page, one. And so there's no menu bar up at the top where they can explore other pages. There's no extra links out to different videos or to YouTube or any of these things that are going to possibly distract them from the goal and the one reason why you have them here. How can you recommend someone to do newsletters a month? Great question. Newsletters, it kind of depends on the industry. I think weekly newsletters are really, really powerful. And there's actually, I included some resources at the bottom of this page. And I was looking at this one. The very last one is a bunch of statistics. And they found in a bunch of studies that typically one newsletter a week or one email a week was around the average. And actually, a lot of people enjoyed two. I think that, though, when you're thinking about of overall strategy, and if you're going to be sending a combination throughout the month of newsletters and promotional emails, or nurture emails and promotional emails, you could do definitely like 2 or 3 a week. It really depends. It depends on the industry, depends on what the goal is and what you're doing. Like right now, we have Patrick, who joined our team, and he's been writing 3 emails a week for AUTONOMY. And that's not, and on top of that, we have other promotions that we're putting out. So we're actually putting out quite a bit to our audience, but it depends on the audience, depends on the industry. It just there's a lot of varying factors. But I think for newsletters, weekly is really great, or monthly, as long as you keep it consistent. Newsletters especially, they're something that people start to expect. And so consistency is really key. And so just finding, and sometimes it's a bit of trial and error. So sometimes it's a matter of you start putting out a couple emails a week and suddenly people are unsubscribing, and oftentimes you can put in like an unsubscribed form, which will offer them the chance to give some feedback of why they're unsubscribing, and you can find out maybe you're sending too many emails. So there's not really an one-size-fits-all answer to that question. It is a very relevant question. But down in the statistics, you can definitely, there's a whole section on there on studies on how often certain industries and people were sending emails and what their audiences like most. I feel like I talked a lot on the answer, Elise, without giving you like a straight answer, but that's, it really depends just on the industry. Transactional emails, also known as triggered emails, are these are just a response to a specific action. So these are the kind of emails that you get when you sign up for something. You get that confirmation or a shipping confirmation, when you purchase a product, when there's password resets or account updates. So more than likely, unless like you're really working on an email team, you probably won't have to do a ton of these. It just kind of depends on what you're working on. But the transaction emails are definitely the most boring out of all of them, but necessary. Right? And then promotional emails or sales emails have the goal of promoting your products or services to your potential customers. And so this is what I spend probably, I'd say promotional emails and newsletters are what I spend the most of my time working on in my weeks for my clients. Before I move on, some more questions?
I have a quick question. So as Autonomy, it has been the Autonomy Forum, since they send out a weekly recap of the most popular posts and comments. Is that something that you would recommend to other clients?
What's nice about that in the forum is that it's automated. And so that is, it's one of the big reasons why we were so excited to switch to the forum, is to be able to get that. And like things like the reminders of events, like I didn't have to think about putting out an announcement on the forum an hour before this clinic, because it just did it automatically for me. So the digest is a great thing, but for that, in the forum, it's a very specific purpose. And that's, related to what events are going on in Autonomy and what the trending posts are and what people are talking about. So in a way, you could mimic something like that in a newsletter, where newsletters can have, you have all your upcoming events coming up. And, here's some big discussions that were going on in the community. So it's something that you could do. It's really nice how the forum automates that for us, though, so that we don't actually have to do it. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Promotional email tips for success. So when you're writing up, and in a little bit, by the way, I have a ton of examples that I'm going to show you guys for as far as newsletters and promotional emails go. So those are coming. So we're going to kind of run through these tips, and then we'll be able to see what those kind of look like in practice. So like we kind of talked about with the rule of one, is knowing the goal of your email before you start. So what's the goal? What are you offering? Who is it for? And what do you want them to do with it? Like we said, one goal per email only. So you don't want to start writing, if you have an offer and you have several different things that you're trying to communicate, that might require several different emails. So if I have two different big services, especially if they don't go hand in hand, that I'm trying to offer, if I have like, oh, here's a good example. So if we're promoting two different courses, right? If we have two very different courses that we're trying to promote, even to the same audience, we would want to split that up into two emails so that they're getting dedicated content for each one, rather than doing a combination. Like you can do, I've actually done this for my Hindu clients, where we were putting out so many emails and they were like all promotional that we were trying to cut down the ratio. So we started doing every month, we would do a combination promotion of all the upcoming courses coming up that month. So then they could see them all coming out. But on top of that, we're still sending out a dedicated email separately for each one of those courses. But it helped cut down when we were just doing nothing but dedicated emails, and there were several going out in the week, and it was just too much for people. And so they're starting to not, when it gets to that point, people are just not really going to want to open your emails too much anymore, especially if you're selling in every single one. So we wanted to cut down on the amount of output that we were putting out there. And so we started doing like a combination. So there's always little exceptions to these rules. They're just, it's important to keep them in the back of your mind. So kind of just going back to the example, if I have two big courses that I'm trying to promote, I'm going to write two separate emails for each one of those. So one goal per email only. Always open your emails with a hook. you want to hook them in and give them a reason to keep reading. So, this is where the subject line, and I didn't even talk about subject line in this particular list, but subject line is super important. I mean, and the subject line has one job and one job only, and that is to get people to open your email. That's it. So you want to evoke curiosity, excitement. You just want to something that's going to entice them to say, I need to know what they have to say in there. And you want to do this ethically. You don't want to just put out some weird clickbait stuff and then not follow through. I mean, clickbait can be okay as long as you're following through on it with real value. It's clickbait without anything behind it is the real problem. You want to open up with a hook. And so this is where the top part of your email also has one job, and that's to keep them reading, to keep them to want to keep going down the email. So that might be opening up with a question. It might be opening up, acknowledging a problem that they might be experiencing so that you can empathize with that problem so that you can offer a solution. But you always want to open up with some kind of a hook. Make your emails easily scannable. By doing things like bolding important words and sentences. You can include images and bullet points. It's kind of funny because when I first read Sabri Subi's Sell Like Crazy, one of the big things that he said in there actually was only text. He said text only, not make them super pretty and well designed and stuff. But that's actually, and it's funny because I was reading those statistics, and actually way more people are interested in seeing some kind of a visual in an email than not. So that was an interesting thing. And I think it's just a changing of our times. More people are interested in watching a short video or seeing a meme or, seeing some kind of an image to just help their eyes latch onto something. So including images and especially bullet points for a promotional email as well, keeping your mind on what are the big benefits, the big outcomes that they could experience by taking your course or engaging with your product or your service. And so including really powerful benefits in the form of a bulleted list. And this really does help for scanners and people that are they're busy. I mean, the email inbox is valuable real estate. And I mean, most people are checking their emails every day, and they're also on a time schedule. I mean, most people don't have hours to go through and process all their emails. So they're trying to get things done fast. So it's important to stay concise and really to the point. Keep the tone engaging and conversational. I mean, that's really the number one goal, is to engage the reader, be as entertaining as you can. Again, the goal is to keep them reading, hook them in. Emails, best practice for emails is to keep it conversational. So whereas like on a website, a website homepage or even a landing page, you might get a little bit more, formal, I guess, a little bit more rigid in the way you talk. Like you want to write your emails pretty much the way that you speak. And it is really good practice after anything that you write for copywriting is to go back through and read each word out loud, each line, each word out loud, and you can see how natural it feels. This is where too, honestly, in that keeping conversational is sometimes you can kind of kick grammar out the window. It's really easy to get, especially those of you and myself who are writers, it can be easy to get hung up on grammar best practices. And honestly, it makes you a little bit more real and engaging sometimes to not use perfect grammar. You still want it readable, but again, conversational. Including testimonials or case studies is always great practices for writing promotional emails. You want to inspire them with a clear call to action. And again, I go back to that rule of one call to action. You might hyperlink it several times in an email, but you want one thing that you're trying to get them to do. And leverage the PS. So the PS is also valuable real estate in an email. I've actually heard that there are people that will scroll down, that'll just completely skim over and scroll down to the bottom of an email just to read the PS first. And so you can really leverage that spot by, you can reiterate your offer that you're putting in the email, any specific key information. You could also use it to tease out like hey, in my next email, I'm going to go ahead and share this with you, and give them something to look forward to in a future email, make them want to open your next email. There's a lot of things that you can do with the PS when you use it well. Questions? Comments? Agnieszka, you just snuck in on me, didn't you? Hello, lovely.
I signed 2 big clients in the last 2 days.
Congratulations.
One was for 8 and one was for 5,000.
Ah, hurrah.
And the 8,000 guy, I thought that was the meeting just before, and I thought he was going to try to say, oh, we don't need all these hours. But then I said, oh, you can use the hours for whatever you want, as long as, you don't have to use them for what I assigned them to. And he goes, okay, well, sign.
Woohoo.
So this is my new marketing agency called No BS Marketing Agency. And what we specialize in is getting people who are working with WeFunder, specifically only people who are working with WeFunder, to hone their presentations and their emails and their campaign strategy.
Awesome. I love that, the No BS Marketing Agency. That's great.
Oh, you should see the logo I designed. It's a bull with poop coming out of him with like a no sign.
Oh, of course you did. Oh, that's amazing.
Because I'm the designer for the company, because there's 2 people, and I'm just loading Discord so I can send you the logo so you guys can all have a laugh. But anyway,
Oh,
what are we
great.
doing today? Look at all my friends.
Yeah, we're talking about emails. So I've just been kind of giving a little primer on different types of emails that are out there, the differences between them. I was just going over some tips for promotional emails. I've got a ton of examples we're going to look through in a little bit. And yeah, we were just wrapping up this section, and it's kind of perfect that you're here for this, because I was going to go over just general tips for all kinds of emails. And I'm sure that you'll have awesome stuff to contribute to this as well as we go.
By the way, I started a new thing. I'm telling people my life motto, clients in meetings. And today the person said, oh, I see, that's why we signed with you. And my new life motto is restore humanity.
Ooh,
I actually have a whole YouTube channel and everything about restore humanity, and I'm doing 77 daily videos, but that's a whole other story. But anyway, I told the client in a meeting, the $8,000 client, that what my mission is to restore humanity, and he signed.
oh, that's wonderful.
So like authenticity, I guess. That's like, yeah, that what that plugin, yeah. Be yourself,
Yeah.
and give you more money.
Yeah.
Don't be professional. Message of the week.
Just be real. Oh, I love it. Awesome.
Anyway, super stoked.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Oh yeah, that's
All
what
right. Tips for all kinds of emails. We talked about this a little bit, but we'll continue on using an enticing subject line. And so I did talk about this in the previous section a little bit, that the subject line has one goal: get your readers to open the email. Try to evoke curiosity. And then you can also use handy dandy tools to test your subject lines before you hit send. This is a really, really great tool to, they just have awesome softwares out there. I included the one that Agnieszka has shown us before, subjectline.com. And you just gotta like sign up once with their email list to get an evaluation. But this is a really great tool that I've been using as well, just to, yeah, see how your subject lines rate based on their nifty algorithms. Yay, future.
And the talks that the guy gives on LinkedIn are actually pretty good too. I've attended a couple of his talks and they're very interesting. He has them like every couple of weeks or something. And
Nice.
it's about this, actually it's kind of 50% crap, because he talks about the television, but then the other half of his talk is about the new things that he found in testing different subjects for different clients. And this is what works this week, and this is what doesn't. It's quite interesting. But then he digresses into TV shows.
Interesting. Yeah, I get all the emails, but I haven't actually attended one of the talks.
Yeah, no, I like it. Jay, whatever his name was on the thing there.
Nice. And on the subject of testing as well, as if you're using a program that supports it, A/B testing is always a really wonderful practice. And so I know like with Drip, for example, is one that I'll do a lot of A/B testing on my subject lines. And just to, it'll put like, if you have a big audience you're sending it to, it'll take 30% of those people, a 30% pool, and it'll send an equal amount of each of your subject lines out. And then whichever one gets the most opens within like a certain, like, I think it's like within like 2 hours, whatever one gets the most opens, that floats up to the top. And then the whole rest of your list, the other 70% will get the top rated subject line. So definitely good practices to do A/B testing. They also, in Drip 2, I know that you can also A/B test the content of your email as well. You can do either one. You can do the subject line, or you can do the content as well, and that can also be helpful, especially when you're trying to make a sale. So that's really powerful for promotional emails to find out which content is going to get you the most clicks. Avoid large blocks of text. Even like if I had this in an email, the first thing that I would do is I would come in and I would put space between each and every line to break things up. It helps the eye. I'm going to put that back for my thing, but it helps the eye to, there we go, to take things in easier. I definitely first learned this from Sabri Subi, and still to this day, I'm on his email list, and he sends really engaging emails that are just one line, space, lots of white space in between. I don't know about you, but if I open up an email and I see a large block of text, I just go blind to it. And like most of the time, I'm not going to, unless I'm really compelled to, I'm probably not going to read the whole paragraph, or I'm going to skim it. But if you break it up, for some reason, I don't know how it's just interesting. Like I've observed this in myself, where I find myself reading each and every line and going down the page when it's broken up like that. So good best practices there.
I think I accidentally sent you the wrong file first. I'm sorry. I sent you our infographic where the clients can pick from any box when they decide to work with us and get our skills. But what I wanted to show you is the bullcrap logo. I mean, no BS marketing logo.
Cool. I'm excited to look at it. We'll go through this list, and then I want to take a look at it.
All right.
Oh, this one's for Agnieszka. Cut the fluff.
So that's where HemingwayApp.com comes in. We should have that link right there.
I could even add it in there.
Because that's who taught us, both me and Kara, to step away from the poetic run-on sentences that we loved so much, but only for marketing. Because in our personal writing, we still do poetic, long form sentences. Because we love them so. They're just not for marketing. For marketing, you want to use Hemingway app and cut everything down to basic, bare minimum of words in every sentence. If there's one word that you could go without it, just cut it out.
Yep. Yeah.
However, and because, so all those things, they're never used in marketing unless some weird specific reason.
Right. And I talked about this in an above section of using images and graphics and videos when applicable. I was mentioning, Agnieszka, I was looking at some new stats from 2022 on email marketing. And because I remember when I first started doing email marketing and learning from Sabri Subi, he was very much like, just like text only use text for everything. And in some new stats, definitely more and more people are more gravitating. Oh, there's a loud, obnoxious bird outside my window. Are gravitating towards the visuals and liking having more little videos and graphics and things in their emails.
You just have to remember that the amount of graphics that you can put in an email really depends on your email reputation. So if you have a really, really robust email reputation like Michael's, Walmart, unshakable trust, then you can use as many graphics as you want. But if you're a new company that's just starting on the market, you want to stick to less than 3 graphics per email so as not to alert the spam bots that you're some kind of a nudity spammer, you know, because they don't actually look at the content of the photos, but they will in the future. And I think they're starting to on Facebook and stuff. Some of the algorithm actually looks at the photos. But for the email bots, for now, they're just counting the amount of photos. And if you have too many photos in relation to sex, if you have too many photos in relation to text, it's definitely about sex.
That's interesting. I didn't think about that.
I've read that in some articles I have read. So there's and then also, you know, capitalization, you can have a little bit of capitalization or maybe have one word in capitals, but if you have a whole sentence in all capitals, that's considered spam as well. So,
well, and my next one was on using email deliverability best practices. And this is definitely where you have a little bit more ready knowledge than I do. So if you want to talk about that, and then I got the spam trigger words on the next line as well. Anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, so I've already worked with a number of different projects where people have been using email inappropriately and then got themselves in trouble, and then their reputation goes down, and that shows up. You know, a first sign could be that your CRM flags you and stops you from sending out any emails. But if you continue, like one client I had, after the CRM flagged them and said, well, you're spamming people. These addresses, they never wanted your email, you know, their bot lists, whatever, stop. Instead of stopping, he just kept going, reopening the new account in a new CRM. He's burned through every single system out there, trying to send millions of emails to people to start his company. But there are better ways. I mean, this guy was buying lists of 100,000 people at a time and just emailing them, spamming them, right? And I think that the emails were harvested from LinkedIn even. So, you know, but with deliverability, so once you break too many rules, it can be that your email always goes to spam. But once you break even more rules, it could be that your email will just never go anywhere. You know, you're sending emails from your domain and they just actually don't show up anywhere because everybody has you blacklisted, and it ends up not getting into any inboxes, not even in the spam folder. So deliverability is very important, and the deliverability of your emails, it directly affects your reputation as a website. If your emails are not connected to your website through the DKIM process, then your emails will be considered spam no matter what you do. That's a very important thing a lot of business owners forget to check, is the DMARC settings on the website. And there's a free tool called MX Toolbox where you can find that out. And if their DKIM or DMARC settings are off. But there are a number of things that we have to remember not to do in an email from somebody who doesn't have a robust reputation. You don't have to have a negative reputation just to have zero reputation. A brand new company doesn't have any reputation. So the algorithm is learning about them and is finding out, are you a spammer or not? That's the first question. Are you a spammer? So any of the things, too many capitals in one sentence, too many different links, too many spam trigger words, too many images, you know, too little text. All of these things are considered spammy. No subject as well is considered spammy. Certain subjects are also considered spam. You know, so putting all capitals in a subject is considered spam. There's so many different considerations. So just having to be careful with maintaining and protecting your client's reputation is a very important thing. And a lot of even marketers don't even consider it.
I did in our resources, I found, where is it? I found a resource, a fairly new one, I believe it was from this year, on deliverability that I threw in here. Now I haven't vetted it. I haven't read it from A to Z. But it did look to be a pretty widely clicked on resource and fairly new. So I included that in the resource.
Response is a good source of information as well. That's a good system. It's a platform. So I would trust them.
Excellent. Awesome. And yep, I got an updated list from Active Campaign on spam words to avoid. So that's linked in there as well. Sender name. I encourage you to use a real name for your sender name. I mean, it depends on, it always, again, with all these, it depends on your industry, what your, what your company is. Maybe it's more recognizable to put your company name, but people resonate with real people. So I encourage you to use a real name for your sender name. Best times during the week to send emails, and still, even with new stats and stuff from the statistics, still the same. Best days of the week to send emails are Tuesdays and Thursdays. A third up to that would probably be Wednesday, that middle of the week. This is when people are consistently checking their emails. And generally between 10 and 2, I believe in the new statistics, it said 11 a.m. was around the best time to send emails. And always, worst open and click-through rates are always on the weekends. I still have a company that I work with that does course promotion, and they still send promotions on the weekends, and it drives me nuts.
But you know what? With watercolorpainting.com, I get good open rates on the weekend.
So it depends. It's another one that depends on the
Watercolor painting
industry.
is for old ladies, right? For old ladies doing hobbies at home, right? It's not for companies. It's not a company. It's not for professionals. It's not for people at work. It always goes to a home address. And we don't really find, like, yeah, Fridays is not a good open rate day.
Mhm.
And Mondays is not a great open rate day, but the rest of the week is pretty much good for these ladies.
So
Also-
is there any like by industry or by audience, any kind of data on that type of stuff?
The
for
busier
open-
the person is, the less they open their emails. So like a CEO, CEO may only open your email on Tuesday or Thursday because he's the busiest, and maybe only in the specific hours, or maybe never. But somebody who doesn't have a job and who doesn't have anything better to do may open your email at any time. So it really depends on how engaged this person is and how many people are vying for their time.
Yeah.
I-
Comes back to knowing your audience. Right. Mhm.
Like if it's a new mom with a baby and a job and a husband, you know, that person would be a really busy person. That would be the same level as a CEO, almost never checking your email.
Mhm.
Is that something that, like, you've obviously, you're keeping some stats on your particular open rates. Are you collecting that kind of data where like most people are opening it at this particular time for your emails?
The guy from subjectline.com is. I mean, I'm kind of memorizing what I do, and I'm using that to influence my future decisions, but I'm not really like writing like scientific papers about it. But the guy from subjectline.com is. And there's many people who do, like Digital Marketer, he also does very, very specific. The guy from landing page, lead pages, what's his name? John something, lead pages. He does very, very, very good. There's a lot of really analytical people out on the market who do those statistics and keep track of that.
Well, some of the email services, do they do that kind of stuff? Do they give you those kind of statistics?
Sometimes, but it doesn't mean you should.
Sometimes. Yeah,
Like-
and I mean, I definitely like with some of my clients that we, started doing like consistent emails for, and we did some experimenting on sending some of our emails at different days of the week. And it still comes back to like I have in my work week Thursday is like my newsletter day. Like every single Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm preparing quite a few newsletters that all get sent out on Thursday. And it's interesting, but like I've experimented with other days of the week, and that's just what works for them. That's when we get like the most traction, and we get the most clicks and most opens. So I just keep going with it. I mean, again, though, it's like, depending on what your industry is and who your audience is, and that's where playing around with it, just doing some experimenting and seeing what kind of traction that you get.
It's very
testing.
audience specific. Like it's totally audience specific. Like if I had a different watercolor painting school, I would still do audience testing. And it doesn't mean that they would open the emails on the weekend, even though it was another watercolor painting school, even so specific as watercolor painting online. But because of the type of customers that we have on the list for watercolorpainting.com, right? And I know that a lot of them are retirees. It's different. If it was a watercolor painting company that specialized in marketing to young adults, the open rates would completely be different. So even the same industry, right? It just really depends on the specific group of people that are on that list. Who did they market to, and how did they get these people on the list?
Good points. Let's see, and then frequency, email frequency. This is another one that can kind of be a little bit of trial and error and experimenting, but how many emails that you're sending out a week? And this is actually Elisa's first question. Above, we were talking about newsletters, and she was asking about like how often she sends newsletters out a month. And that's what I said. It depends. It depends on your audience, depends on your industry. I think that weekly newsletters are usually pretty effective. Some people will send multiple emails in a week. Some people will send one newsletter a month, but consistency, I think, is really key.
The other thing that's important is not to send to too many people at once. Some of the systems have a drip thing where you send to 30 people every 2 minutes. And that is the best thing for protecting your reputation, because if you send an email to 300,000 people at once and your reputation is not sound, different things can happen. That's why when somebody is in trouble with their reputation and deliverability, we actually only send to 10,000 people in a go. Like say they have 200,000 people on the list. We send to 10,000 on a Tuesday, 10,000 on a Thursday, 10,000 on a Tuesday, 10,000 on a Thursday, and we go like that over a few months, rather than sending that whole email to the whole group at the same time. That way we get to monitor if we're getting in trouble. If there is too many spam complaints, we can stop and back up and re-examine the email. Especially for a company that has a huge list and is already in spam trouble.
Yeah, that's a good strategy.
That was
especially for a big list.
by experts.
Mhm. Nice. And then, number 10, always provide an easy option for them to unsubscribe or opt out. A quick way to get reported as spam is to not acknowledge somebody's unsubscribe or opt out. That's just a quick way for them to hit that spam trigger. So before I start going into examples, I did
Wait, there's one more thing. Change personalities can piss people off. If your emails for the last 10 years have been white and plain and friendly, and now you go high color and stiff, that might actually lose you a lot of people and have a lot of spam complaints, because it's not, you know what I mean? You can't change on people. If you completely change your personality, your haircut, and your car, some of your friends may not be your friends anymore after that. They may not jive with them anymore. And same with your customers, transitions that are slower might be more friendly for customers, especially since they don't have as much invested as your friends do. And
totally. On the flip side of that, so I'm just thinking now about Patrick, who has joined our team and has started sending his own autonomy newsletters out to our full list to students, those enrolled and those not enrolled. And he's been sending those out on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays every week. And this was a big change for our email list. So we primed our list. We made sure to put out an announcement that this was coming, introducing Patrick. We kind of like slowly incorporated this in. And then once he started hitting the ground running, like we've had a lot of people unsubscribing, but that's the way that we're doing it now, though. This is actually a good list cleaning tool, where right now we're starting to finally clean out all the people who were never going to take action. They were never going to join autonomy. And so they were just kind of getting the fence sitters off the list. And now we're getting like a really, really healthy list. And those newsletters have been super engaging, and we're getting a lot of really great responses and comments. And let you guys know, Patrick is going to join us next month for next month's clinic, and he is going to come and talk and share all about his strategy. He's got a very unique strategy for his email marketing that he does with his clients. So he's going to come and share all of that awesome, juicy knowledge with us next month. Very excited.
That sounds awesome. Yeah. By the way, we're having some kind of a weather event thing. I don't know if you can see it now, it's all blurred
Yeah,
anyway.
fuzzy. Yeah, you have a blurred background.
And blurred background. So if I crap out for whatever reason, I'm gonna unblur myself so I can show you my weather event. Look at this. It's not blurred, right?
Can't really tell what's happening.
There's like strings of rain coming down from the sky. Like it's not drops, but like
Oh,
It's like-
weird.
it's like rain, but it's really heavy. So it looks like lines of rain. It didn't pick up.
Oh,
Anyway,
interesting.
yes.
I put a list of various resources you can check out, like a subject line tester. There's some more things that were linked above, the spam words to avoid, and some articles that I found that some more recent 2022 articles that I found that I thought were really good. Tips for writing promotional emails, a bunch of newsletter ideas. So Elise, you'll probably like this, is a whole bunch of different ideas for newsletters to engage your subscribers. That was really great. This one I think was an older article, but I still liked about nurturing emails and creating nurturing sequences, deliverability, and then all those statistics that I was talking about. So this is for yours, and I'll post this resource as well when I post a recording of this meeting also, but you're all welcome to go in and download it. And then I've got a bunch of examples to breeze through. I won't take a ton of time on this because we have an email from Elise that we're going to take a look at that I want to get to today. But just to kind of give you some examples of various promotions that I've worked on over time. I went through and I tried to find the ones that had some of the best performance. This one's really fun. So Joshua's wife, Laura, makes like festival clothes, and I write her weekly newsletters. So this was one that this is a real client of hers showing off some of her clothes. And one thing that we've been utilizing a lot is the reviews that she gets. And when I started implementing reviews into her newsletters, like engagement just like skyrocketed. They totally went up. So this has been like a big thing that we've been starting to do a lot more often, talking about all the things that they love about Azalea and the clothes that Laura creates. And then we did this greatest hits, so some of the most popular items that she sells. I got to wear those pants at a festival recently. Ha.
I saw that and I was so impressed with the way you looked. I was like, I liked your pictures on Facebook, even though I usually don't engage with things on Facebook.
Yay! I usually don't post on Facebook, but I was so happy about the photo.
I honestly, at first glance, I thought it was Willow. And then I'm like,
Oh,
that's not Willow, that's freaking Kara sporting some crazy outfit.
yeah, it was pretty fun. And we had Laura made us custom faux fur hoods that were just awesome, just amazing and super high quality, and felt really special because she doesn't make them anymore, but she made them special for my husband and I. So it was really nice.
Awesome. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
This is kind of another angle on the reviews that I did of inspiring on how you could make something your own. So this was kind of what I put for the angle of this email. It got a lot of traction, got a ton of clicks, and so included actual customer reviews and the photos that they sent along with their reviews. And this really gave a lot of traction and made people really want to make their purchases. So this is super fun. Benny Wills, this was a newsletter that we did for him. It was actually one of the first newsletters that I want to say Helen actually helped write this. I know I had a hand in it. I helped build it and polish it, but I'm pretty sure that Helen actually wrote the first draft of this. And Benny was really skeptical at first about doing this kind of a newsletter. He was mostly just sending out emails to his meme list. And so this was before his last season of Parhesia. So I think this is end of 2021, but one of the first newsletters that we sent, and he made thousands of dollars from this one newsletter. It made this personal connection. People really care about Benny. And then we were able to talking about the memes, but also then talking about Parrhesia. And it was one of those where at first he was a little bit, he really hesitated because he did get a handful of a good amount of unsubscribes, but it was that list cleaning thing. So on top of like, he got some unsubscribes, he also got a ton of sales from this newsletter. So it was really effective. And the testimonials. Testimonials are always really great in any kind of promotion, anything that you're doing for a course or product or service. So we have this video testimonial. So like I said, this got him a lot of enrollments, which was really awesome. I don't really remember everything that I put in this list, so I'm just going to keep going down. This is another one for Benny. Let's get down here. Oh, come on, you're not going to show me that. Okay.
I like the logo with the peacock. I think it looks beautiful.
He's got a great logo. So this was a promotional email. This was not a newsletter. This was a promotion for Parrhesia. This was another one where I was looking at the stats that got him quite a bit of sales. So again, opening with the hook, right? Looking for like-minded people. Are you ready to unleash your artistry, tap into your unlimited creative potential? So I had basically like 3 hooks in this email in the hopes of trying to hook different people in, because these are all the different things that you can get with his course with Parrhesia. So really had a good effect. I can't remember I could go look at the stats, but I don't want to put all of his back end stuff on blast, but I know that this one got quite a bit of signups. And it, again, also had some images, nice thing to break up the text. We gave them an extra offer where we had for a limited time, they could get basically everything in the Agora marketplace for like 30 days free access to all these other courses if they signed up for Parrhesia. So this was an effective strategy. And then in the PS, so I talked about leveraging the PS is where we added in one more testimonial. Actually, a couple of testimonials in here. So we did a video one and an image of a text testimonial. What's this one? This was another recent one that we did for that I did for Benny. Once it loads, there we go. Putting out the recording of an interview that he had been on fairly recently, where he talked a whole bunch about Parrhesia. It was a really, really great discussion. He like really broke down his course. Honestly, for me, I've been working with Benny for years now with his course, since the development of his course. And it was the first time that I heard him like really communicate exactly how he structures his course just in this way that just like clicked. And so this is another email that got a lot of really good traction and got him a good amount of signups. What else do I have in here? Oh, another one for Benny. I have all sorts of ones with Benny. Another strategy that we used was setting up a live Q&A session with him. So again, this is the same thing with promotional email. We opened up with a hook, got them to hook them in. And if these spark even a little bit of flame in you, Parrhesia may be the answer you've been seeking. So all this stuff, but we were like, we get that this is a big decision, investing all this money, that's a lot, I get it. So come to this Parrhesia roundtable and you ask me anything. And so he set up this thing. We set this up as like a trigger link. So all they had to do was click, do one click, and they added a tag to their profile on the back end. So then when the day came, he was just able to identify the people in his email program that had that tag and then send them the Zoom link. And out of this, out of using this strategy, and he was able to have that personal connection with his people, and then gave him an awesome offer at the end of the Q&A, and he got a whole bunch of signups. So it was a really, really powerful strategy. This was a promotion for my Hindu monk clients that I do promotional emails for. They put on a bunch of different courses. So again, same kind of thing with promotion. We're opening up with a hook, some kind of question. Then here's the invitation, have a link to the course page. We have our benefit bullet points of what they're going to get from this course. All images should always, especially when you have a promotion, always link your images to the page. So this is linked to the landing page for the course so that they can, they see this, they can click, they're going to go over and learn more about the course. Essential course information. Then we had our button to learn more and enroll. These were more from the same client, I feel like I have so many of these, I probably don't need to go through all of them, but these were some that brought in a good amount of, oh, it didn't save the, I had some specifically selected, here we go. This was a newsletter that brought in quite a bit of revenue for them. I believe when I checked, it brought in about $6,000. And so this one was just letting them know what was going on in the community, that their guru was going to be, you know, doing some events. And then we had, this was like basically an upcoming events newsletter. So we had all these different things that were going on where you could go and learn more, letting them know about a new events calendar that they had. They could go and, you know, see what events are coming up. Then we just added some value of some music that we wanted to share with them. Nice little educational do you know. So this was, I thought this was a good example of a newsletter that had a whole bunch of different components. So it was letting you know about some upcoming events that were coming up, also just offering some free value, offering in like a video and some music. And this, this newsletter brought in quite a bit of revenue. This one was to a very specific audience. And this was another one that brought in almost, so 500 there, it was, okay, so almost $2,000 in revenue from this email. And it was a specific audience. So this was very, very highly targeted to people that had already taken a previous course. And so speaking to them in their language, using a lot of jargon that I would never normally use in one of the other primary emails, but this is a good example of just being really targeted to your audience, where I wouldn't have said any of the words, I wouldn't have said the word guru, I wouldn't have said like some of these other phrases that are very specific to this, but because they'd already taken this Atmakriya Yoga course, and this was a further immersion, it was very highly targeted, and this one brought in quite a bit of signups and revenue. And this company, Bhakti Marga, they've let me know that they've had, they've brought in, I mean, at least 4 or 5 times the revenue that they ever had before since we've been doing email marketing for them. So this is very effective strategies. I'm getting close to the end of my examples. What's this one? I set these up last night. So now, of course, after sleeping, I don't even remember which ones I put in here. Similar thing. Oh, this one didn't have the revenue attached to it. Yeah, just another course promotion, but you're seeing after, you know, I went through the, you know, tips for promotional emails, I think you're all starting to see the pattern here of, you know, opening up with a hook, hooking them in, giving them information, giving them some powerful benefits and bullets, making it scannable so that, you know, the important stuff is bolded, linked where appropriately, so that even if they're in a rush and they're skimming, they can see the important stuff that we want them to see. I don't know why I picked so many from Bhakti Marga. Maybe it's just because I've been writing for them for so long. This was so same sequence. So actually, like if you're coming up to, if you have a course coming up, you're not just going to send one email. You're probably going to send several emails leading up to the launch of your course. So the previous email we just looked at was the first first promotion for this course, and then the next one was a last chance email. So I put that right there in the subject line, last chance to register. The course starts tomorrow, and then this was really tight and to the point. So join us in this. This starts tomorrow. Here's what you're going to get. Enroll. And this one brought in quite a bit of revenue as well. Last second, good open rates. And I think I targeted this specifically to those who had opened the previous email, but didn't take action. So, you know, we've talked about this before, where sometimes people need to come in contact with something, like the average is like 7 times or something before they'll want to take action. But at least, you know, they need to see something, give it some time for it to sink in, make a decision if they want to. So being able to poke that again. So we had all these people that I'd sent the first promotion to, didn't take action. So identified those in this last chance, and look at the, I mean, over half of the people opened up the email, got a huge click-through rate, a ton of last-minute signups. So it's a really powerful strategy. And let's see, Okay, and just another promotion that
Wait.
also brought
Before
in. What?
you go too far, I just wanted to add something. A lot of people think that they can send one email and expect results from the one email to a bunch of
Mhm.
people, but in reality, sending one email is as going for one coffee with a girl and expecting her to marry you after that, or sleep
Yes.
with you, whatever.
Yeah. So being strategic and thinking about like the life cycle of, your launch sequence. So when you're coming up to something, like really planning that out. When do you want to start promoting it and just getting it on their radar? Sometimes that can just be like a save the date, that, just get it on their radar that this is coming up. Then you're going to start to, in your sequences, you're going to start to give them more benefits. You use different hooks and different angles. So like even with Benny, we've been kind of going on the fly for him. I'm going to stop sharing now. We've been kind of going on the fly with him week by week. But what I would love to do is like where I had some of those emails that had like 3 different hooks, each one of these could be its own email, focusing on just that one hook and just that one angle. So when you have the time and you're really like planning things out, you can really strategically think about your emails coming up and which focus you want them to have. I need a drink of water. I feel like I've talked a lot. Cool. Well, I would love to, Elise, you still up for us checking out your email?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous, but it's, probably good feedback. Should I forward it to you, or how would you like?
What form is it in?
It is in, well, I just have it in my email. Like
Okay.
it's sent to me as well.
Sure, you can forward it to me and I can open it up if you like.
Okay. What
Um,
is, you want to put your email in the
Yeah.
chat?
I'm sorry, I have to eat something. I've been on the call for like 3 hours now, nonstop. That's
no
it.
problem. I know I'm gonna have
When
some
I'm here for
lunch
questions.
after this. Oh yeah, and then while she's sending that, I want to look at your logo.
And then on the email that I sent you, so I didn't write the subject line. So like whatever feedback you have on that, still great, but just know like I just was using the subject line to kind of write the copy.
Sure.
Basically like was asked to write the email because my friend has like really bad internet connection where she's at right now and she needed a newsletter. So yeah, a lot of it's just like promotion for like many different offerings coming up in September. Yeah.
Oh,
So.
I know who you're writing for. Well,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's cool. All right, let me pull this up. Try and get it into a tab where you're not all looking at my email. There we go. Okay. So go ahead and first just give us a little background on like what's being promoted here and who's this going to be going to?
Actually going to her whole list. What was it, like her entire list that was in, gosh, she was using her brand bot. So let me look real quick.
Sure. Well, so in a general sense, her audience is going to be, now these are like
past clients, current clients.
And remind me exactly what she does and for the group too.
Yeah. So she has a yoga like cross training studio. And they do a lot of like they do steel mace and she does teacher trainings. So she does a lot of cross training that's like very unique. And steel mace with yoga, which steel mace is like an ancient, it's based off like an ancient weapon called the gada, which was used in like fighting. But she combines that with yoga. And yeah, owns a studio, Flowshala in Bellingham. And then she also owns like the Steel Mace Vinyasa brand. So she has a couple different brands and just has a lot of offerings. So this is a newsletter for her studio, for Flowshala. And just like with the upcoming offerings that are coming up. So I started this whole thing with just like the expansiveness because of that's what she made the title, and she's like, you can change it. I was like, I don't know, I'll just roll with it. So yeah, it was kind of a last minute thing, like, hey, can you do this today for me? So
Sure.
yeah, and just to try and drive people to signing up for really any of the offerings. I don't think there's like, oh, just this one. There wasn't any like targeting. It's just like, this is what's coming up.
Sure.
And then a reminder about the teacher training too, because she has a deadline on the applications coming up next week. So that's a little blurb
Great.
at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, honestly, like, so I really like the I don't know, expansiveness in the body, but it's the a note on that is actually, that's not grabbing me. So just thinking about like how we could tweak that and turn that around to make them want to like really say, I'm so super curious, I need to open up this email.
And run it through the tool.
What?
Run the subject through the tool, see what it says.
Oh, that's a good idea.
What's the tool again?
We're
What's
gonna
it
go
called?
to
Subjectline.com.
subjectline.com. Let's see, am I on the right? I am on the right thing. Where to go? Let's see what it says.
Is that tool in the
In
in
the handout? Yeah. Yep.
Oh, test your subject line.
Subjectline.com. Okay, so it scored an 85 out of 100. Contains any word that has more than 8 characters. So is that minus 9 points, Agnieszka? Is that what it's saying? Oh, so the expansiveness is too wordy for them.
Too
is that
big.
Right? Okay.
But we could fix it by putting other words in there, like putting some urgency, like embrace no, because embrace is not, like something that makes it do it today, do it now. And
like
then
create expansive.
Yeah, the subtle urgency, it's going to be plus 19, which is going to take out the 8 characters from expansiveness, because I think it's a good word for yoga people. Also, if you want to gain some points, you can put like a star in the beginning, and that's going to add
star.
Yeah, or like an
emoji.
But a star, what it does is, or any kind of emoji, what it does is makes, like when the person is scanning their subjects, that came in, makes them stop at that one, right? But it's a splash color, right? And that's why it's
like a star emoji, not like the star like with like shift 8.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
The yellow one.
Yeah, okay, like an emoji. I see.
Yeah, if you just right click right in the subject and put it'll be emoji. Emoji will be one of the options, and then you can put whatever emoji you want. I only use like 3 or 4 of them, honestly. I only use like exclamation mark, star, or that stop with the exclamation mark in the middle. I only use those 3 usually for all of the
worse.
Less. I made it worse.
What about subtle urgency?
What about star? Step into expansiveness.
That's a good one.
I need a star.
No, right click, just like I said, go back.
What?
I'll show you. Right click, emoji. At the top of the list.
Oh.
What?
And then
I learned something new.
You can actually,
the bottom where the heart is.
Look, here's the sparkles.
Oh, sparkles.
Yeah, the sparkles. And then step into expansiveness, is what I said.
In the body. Or
Or just step into expansiveness.
Step into expansiveness, yeah.
But step into it.
Went away.
Dang it.
It went away. Jerk.
This tool, yeah, it's at the top now.
Oh. Okay. Just
And put wait, put the quotation marks around it and put exclamation at the back at the end. And then evaluate it.
Oh.
Ooh.
Agnieszka's been working with this for a while.
Nice.
And you can
100%.
in front of expansiveness, you can put the capital E as well. Because
Oh,
see,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
see will take away the penalty for the big word, because we know that this
Uh-huh.
audience will like that big word, right?
Yeah,
So you just
Right.
play with it.
that's cool.
Sweet.
That's
To
neat.
use the subject line thing.
Whoops. Okay,
It's
clicked on the
totally
link and I didn't
I'll
mean
show
to.
you guys another tool. Did I ever show you reply.io, Kara?
I think that's what you were showing us last month. I think, if that's what I'm remembering.
I think so too, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what's your opinion, Agnieszka, on openings like this about that? I hear mixed feelings about things like this. Like, hope your summer's going well. Like, on one end, I could see it as like, you're trying to connect with your reader. I could also see that as fluff. That
What's your
just-
best friend's name, Kara?
what?
What's your best friend's name?
My best friend's name? Shelly.
Shelly. Okay, you say you came back from vacation, you're writing to Shelly. Will you ever say, hope your summer is going well? As the first sentence?
Maybe. I don't know.
But
How are
reality,
you would be a better question.
you're gonna
I
say
guess.
something like, hey, how's your summer going? Or hey, Shelly, so you haven't heard from you for a while. How's your summer?
Hmm.
I'm gonna say, I hope your summer is going well, Shelly. This is 19th century and we're now being cultured. And so I'm gonna send you a card and hope that you're gonna get back to me in 3 to 5 and have coffee too.
All right. So more engaging if you're going to use it to do in the form of a question. And that kind of goes back to
Yeah.
that topic of being conversational. And so that is a good point. Yeah, like how would you speak to a friend?
Mhm.
There's a certain endless excitement we feel in the summers in Washington as the days get longer and we can play more. That could probably be tightened up.
First
Uh-huh.
sentence,
Huh?
what if we say something, have you felt this endless excitement that we feel? Have you, or something?
Yeah, another question.
Like,
Mhm.
are you tapping into what I'm tapping into? Because this is super
Mhm.
cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, and if you reframe it that way, you could honestly probably just get rid of this altogether. And that's a really good engaging first sentence is, and that creates that connection. Yeah, I like that.
Mhm.
I'm not
Yeah.
pretending that you know them because you don't know them, right?
Mhm.
You're not saying, hey, how's it going? As if you were super friendly because,
Mhm.
some of these people, she doesn't know them. Of course, it's going to go to Kara.
Floshala has been experiencing so much life in our studio this summer with community events and workshops. The big thing these events have brought to our attendees are the growth of mind and body. So this is like, I would encourage you to speak directly to your people. So rather than like talking about bringing to our attendees, this is like the awesomeness that has been brought to you and people like you in this community. I'm spitballing here, but
Mhm.
Speaking directly to the person.
And don't talk about
Mhm.
yourself. Don't talk about Floshala. We don't give a fuck about Floshala. What we give a fuck about is the people. Floshala customers or
Mhm.
the people who have been frequenting from Floshala over the summer know how
Mhm.
much growth in mind and body they've received. You want to get on that boat too and feel this growth in body, but you don't want to be talking about, we did this course and it's our course. You don't want to, because then that just loses them.
Mhm.
You ever notice that when you are learning and embodying a new movement practice, it expands everything? The feeling of freedom, creativity, new ideas. Love it.
Love it. Love it.
Mhm.
I could
God.
probably just put that at the beginning, honestly. Like cut
No,
out the other part or like moved it down because the whole segue is like trying to be like, we have new events for you guys to experience expansiveness in your body and like learn new things. And so like probably could have been like, have you ever noticed that? And then Floshala clients throughout the summer have been experiencing this have been experiencing growth of their mind and their bodies. And then
You know what, Elise? These people live in community. So you could say, have you seen the girls from your class, like the girls that you've been taking yoga? I don't know how to phrase it, but have you seen other people in the community suddenly have more oomph in their step and feel like they're grown? That's because they've been going to these summer classes and having this growth of body, right? You can say, you can start with, have you ever noticed that sentence? You can start the email with that sentence and then follow with, there's a certain excitement that, you know, that gets turbocharged if you just pay attention to your body. And the best way to your body is to come to a class and really feel every muscle system, you know what I mean? And expansiveness that way. Because when is the last time Kara's been to a class?
Oh, I haven't ever been to one of these classes.
Never
I just
been.
know no.
Well, if you
I just
want,
know
there's some workshops coming up.
Oh,
They're very
maybe.
fun. That's what
maybe.
this is all about. It's all about the workshops that are like special one-off events, you know. It's not just about like classes that people should take.
Totally.
Practice is one aspect of yoga. But when you attend these special one-off events, you can really deepen your knowledge on a whole new level.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's a good way to phrase it.
Yeah, and there's different ways that you can do this transition. And so, you know, talking about like Agnieszka was saying, like seeing all these, you know, people and how they've experienced all of this this growth and this expansiveness, and then this is how you can too, and you know, leading into the different offerings and events that are coming up. Flowability floor workshop. So avoid, if you can, avoid starting any of these sections with like we or I or me. So we're really trying to
like flowability workshop is coming to our community, just
to your community.
Your workshop, your community.
Your community, not our community.
Yeah.
It's not about you at all. You don't even need to exist. It's all about them.
Yeah. And so that's that like in what?
Sorry.
I cut you off. I was just saying, so then, you know, connecting with, you know, and turning it around, this is coming to your community. You could, so before we start talking about who the person is, we want to hook them in and get them excited first. So right now,
so flip where the sections are.
Yeah, you know, it could be like you could bring this up a little bit more, or I love discover new movements and how to combine flow and mobility to move better and find joy in expressing yourself through the art of movement. Love it. Like
that's first sentence. The second sentence is this 2-day workshop. That's the second sentence, and the third sentence, Marlo. And we are that doesn't even, maybe that would be just the title, flowability and floor workshop, and that's it with Marlo.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is, you know, what we'll find, and you know, this happens quite a bit, is like all of the components are there. It's just a little bit of rearranging and how they're being presented on the page. Like you've done some really great writing in here, and like you've got some really good benefits. And I mean, this is, you know, there's some good grabby stuff in here. It's just rearranging how it's presented.
Right. Because you don't want to lose them. You have to think about like the journey of them reading this, and like you don't want to lose, like, why do I care about Marlo until I know what this thing like
Marlo
can bring to me?
Exactly.
Oh, she's the person presenting, and so
so
but even when
she's never been at the studio before, so you know, like I think it's important to build trust with like who a new person is. In a little bit.
If she's never been at the studio before, you're missing out an important sentence, an important opportunity that you could do, because this is new, exciting, and unique, and it'll never happen again. So why don't we know that right away? Marlo has never graced the studio before. This is the first time Marlo has agreed to teach a class.
We're so excited to have her.
To teach a fucking class for 5 years now. She will never be available. This is the first time we actually booked Marlo. Right on, let's do this. This is your only chance.
See, in the beginning of this clinic, when I made my little, I put my thing out there that said we have potty mouths. See, this is why I put those little warnings out there.
But even when you're writing, like say we're writing, and next thing we have to do is write Marlo's bio, right? We would never really say that Marlo, like Marlo is a dancer by trade. That could be your last sentence. But in reality, what we would say is Marlo can do this for you, and Marlo can do this for you. And this you're going to learn from Marlo. And this is awesome because you can step into this and Marlo will help you. Right. So even everything in Marlo's bio would be all about the customer, not really about Marlo, except for maybe being a dancer for 20 years. That's where she can help you.
Right. Cool.
Nice.
But in this email, like, look at this, look at what you got there. Pole dance innovator. Have you ever taken a class from a real pole dance innovator? That should be your first sentence. Yeah. Because how many pole dance innovators do you know? And how many agreed to
Yeah.
Of all the pole dance innovators we've reached out over the last 5 years, Marlo is the first one who's actually, you know, carved enough time in her calendar to grace us with the class. And we're so grateful. Because pole dance innovators, they're really hard to come by, you know, they're very rare.
Yeah.
Anybody can teach those 2 moves in pole dancing that we've all seen 100 times, but a pole dance innovator will teach you some things that you will be impressing your boyfriend and any audience you dance in front of for years.
Yeah.
And I'm not convinced that fluidity, creativity, and expression is their goals. These people do not fall asleep at night going, oh, I wished I had more fluidity, creativity, expression. They're like, oh, I wish that guy would fuck me.
Oh my God. Okay, this is where some audience research would need to happen first.
Innovator here, pole dance innovators, right? Why would you do a pole dance innovator thing? You want to get laid, or you want a body that'll get you laid?
You're making assumptions, Miss Agnieszka. You have not done the proper audience research here.
That's true.
I haven't. I've never confirmed those assumptions.
But I'm not saying she's a
romance. You want romance? How about that?
There you go. I'm not saying she's a prostitute. I'm saying that, you know, if you're taking pole dancing, you know, you probably want to have it.
Oh, but it's not pole dancing.
Oh,
it's
shit.
Like floor work. Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, she's a pole dance innovator, but that's like not the goal.
Oh, Agnieszka, I love you.
It's all good.
All right.
Those WeFunder people believe in me.
I just wanted to throw something in here at this point because I've heard this a couple times there, but talking about power words, I was just reading the art of psychological warfare, and they were talking about the 12 most powerful words and how, if you look at marketing, you're going to find these words all the time. I thought I might throw them out there and see what you guys think about these, the ones that it said.
That's the list. We need to know this.
Easy, health, save, guarantee, money,
spam trigger,
discovery, results,
spam
new,
trigger.
love, free,
spam trigger.
proven, and the final one is you, the most powerful word of all, you.
It's hilarious how like all but 4 are spam triggers.
Thank you for sharing that, Michael.
But I do want to see the list, Michael. Please send it to the group or whatever.
Yeah, I'd love to get like, I've seen several different kind of lists on power words, and I'd love to like, you know, get an updated one or something.
Just because most of those words are spam triggers, that just means we can't use them in an email, but that doesn't mean we can use them in a landing page or a website or a script. And it doesn't necessarily mean we can't use them in an email. We just have to be careful and very judicious when we use them, and maybe 1 or 2 at a time, not too many at once. Because, you know, if you think about the power words, the first reaction would be, oh yeah, I want to put them all in one email. but that may not be the right strategy.
I think this is another one that could just use some rearranging, maybe a little bit of polishing and rephrasing some things. I don't feel like this should be, I like that you call it a crowd favorite. It's gonna, that definitely has some weight. But as far as that being the opening sentence, I like get ready to level up.
We could start it with a testimonial like you did that other email, Kara.
Oh, that would be a good strategy.
I'm not sure if I had any testimonials on hand for this particular workshop. And that would have been something I had to communicate with her, but like it was kind of a last minute task, and I just didn't think about that also. But yeah, if I had a little bit more time, or like she had better internet service or something like that, it would have maybe made it easier to like gain one. But yeah, I had plenty of other testimonials from her, but just like not for this particular event. Yeah, I totally see where that could have fit in here.
Yeah.
But if you Mark Willman or Summer Huntington, they probably have tons of testimonials you can include.
Right. Yeah. There's a time constraint right now. I'm sure there's testimonials available out there. And so maybe in like a future promotion or something, that would be a really good strategy to utilize.
And I probably should have, because we have a ton of testimonials for, you'll see lower down, like the teacher training. There's tons of testimonies for that. And I should have included one for that, because that's like one of the things that we're like ongoingly promoting and is also in the email. I should have just thought like, oh, testimony on the email. But
this is more like a menu or a newsletter than an email. I would not call this an email.
Oh yeah, it's a newsletter.
Yeah, it's definitely
but it's an email, right? Like that's the format.
Right.
Yeah,
I would open
it's
it
not
up
like
if I were just
single promotion.
Right. If I were just to do some quick rearranging, I'd make this your opening paragraph, then lead into, a crowd favorite. Turn this into a period instead of a comma, and make this own. If you're going to keep this, make that its own little sentence.
Spam trigger.
Oh yeah, that's spam trigger.
You won't want to miss it.
Miss it is a spam trigger. Yeah.
Really?
You could just cut that. I mean, it doesn't really need it there.
And I think get ready to level up is a much better call to action than because it's a negative call to action too. You have to be careful when using negative statements in language, because people.
What's a like negative statement?
Don't do this.
Oh, okay.
Don't fall. Because essentially, if you tell it to a 2-year-old, don't fall, they're gonna fall, right? So it's that psychological thing.
Gotcha.
Right. And people don't really like being told what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
They do on some level. They just want
subtly
the way they want it to sound.
Yeah. They want it to be not so direct.
So do opening paragraph. Then this one telling them what it is, but you can cut out the you won't want to miss it. And then you're supporting that this is a crowd favorite, while also letting them know there's always like new stuff to get. So then this would be a good follow-up for anyone who wants to level up their training.
And I'd like to see all these sentences go through Hemingway a little bit, just trim up words a little bit, because you got like, so even if, and all these that are unnecessary.
Okay.
Like if you broke it into 2 different sentences, every time we offer this, it's a completely unique experience, exclamation mark.
I see that. Yeah.
Right. And really, that's it. That's the sentence. The rest of it is really not adding anything more to it.
Right.
Yeah, it could be cut down totally.
Because, every time it's a uniquely new experience, check out what we have to offer this time. It's going to be different than last time. Don't use checkout. That checkout is also a spam trigger.
Yeah. Okay. Check out.
And you know what,
Never.
you guys, I've been using take a look instead of check out, but that really does not work. Take a look fails me. Like the people,
Can't win.
they don't react to take a look. They don't give it flying.
Nobody wants to just take a look.
Right? Nobody likes that sentence. I tried it so many times and they're just like,
No,
no,
I'm not gonna do that.
Not gonna take a look.
don't use take a look either. It's too weak. Do it now, you bastard.
So this is another like rearranging where I would, so getting to putting up at the top like what they're gonna get. So tap into your Copywriting body, become present, explore what it means to interact with life, discuss. So you might want to even break this up a little bit, but these are big benefits of what they're gonna get that you want to feature right up at the top. Then for the second
Wait.
time,
I have a different idea.
okay.
What if
Bullet point.
what if she said something like, did you have a chance to experience the amazing growth immersion with Joan Lag last time? For the first sentence, and then go to whatever you said next. Because if it's only happened one before and they missed that chance, this is their chance.
This is their second chance.
You don't get a second chance for a lot of things in life. Don't say that.
You never know. You never know if it'll be their last.
But that could be, you know, a good hook. Did you get to experience the last time? Well, look what we have in store for you.
Yeah.
And all the things, and you're right, actually, you know, you mentioned it, Elise, these could totally be put into bullet points. This would actually, because you have so many, this would be perfect for a little quick bulleted list of the benefits and what they're going to get from participating in this.
What you said about scannability, like when you scan that, you kind of miss that sentence entirely, and that's like all the benefits.
And when you start to like read it out loud too, that's a long sentence. And so rather than, you know, rather than breaking it up into just like a couple where you still got all these commas and you're basically listing things out, boom, perfect material for a little bulleted benefit list.
True.
Can I edit one of the bullets though?
Yeah.
Discover something new. I would say discover something new about yourself.
Like that.
Yeah.
Or reconnect with yourself on a whole new level or something like that.
I like that. Yeah.
Because something new, like just random new, I don't know. Like, you know, some people are afraid to take
anything new.
haven't tested. No, I'm not. I've been told before that people are afraid, or I've seen this in real life, afraid of tasting new foods because it like this kind of thing.
That's understandable.
I don't know.
A lot of people are.
Right.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Like make it a little bit more like specific on like what it is.
I think for it being a big menu list, it needs to have more fun. Like, I mean, it's kind of cool for the customers, but it's a little long list of all the things they want to sell you, right? And so most of the time in emails, what we want to do is one goal per email, right? But you have like 15 goals in this email, which is what makes it a newsletter.
Right. It's just a newsletter.
Yeah. Yeah, but just maybe like throw in, I don't know, a meme or a joke or something, some lightheartedness a little bit in there because it's such a long list. Or halfway through,
right.
Put something like, wow, that's a lot of stuff we have going on this month. Hang on, it's not that yet. You know, just to keep our attention, to break up their attention because they're like,
That and, you know, on that note, one thing that you could do, you don't have to do, but when you have a long newsletter like this, where you have a lot of things that you're packing in, is you can kind of give a teaser up at the top. Just give them in one little paragraph, just like, this is what you can expect down below. And then if they see something in there, they're like, ooh, I want to know about that. They're not just like mystery scrolling. They know that they're getting to something that they want. So you can put like a little teaser up in the top
And
section.
bullet points and you know, say another chance to get the workshop. And this is so cool for the boys, whatever the mace one, right?
For the boys.
Opportunity you won't want to miss.
I shouldn't talk because I've always wanted to take a quarter staff training, but it's never been offered in any city that I live in.
Actually, more women come to these. Like guys are starting to come more, but like more women come and train and like actually like get certified in steel mace. It's like 50-50, but I think before it started off mostly as women. And it's just like a very empowering tool for women to embody like the warrior energy. So yeah, that's been like the primary clients, but now she's trying to like have it be a little bit more everybody. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Oh wow.
Thank you for bringing, Elise, thank you for bringing your email. Sorry, I distracted everybody now with pulling up Agnieszka's logo that I just had to look at. But thank you for bringing your email for us to look at. It was really perfect after going through this whole thing on emails to like see, you know, a draft newsletter and be able to analyze it together. Super valuable. And this is just fun, Agnieszka.
This is my new agency, No BS Marketing Agency. Kind of a real thing, and we really got hired by some really rich people who make like $18 million a year, and
that's amazing.
Because we don't want anybody who's professional. They're not interested in professionalism. They're only interested in you knowing how to do your job well. But they, you know, like seriously in meetings, they keep referring to, yeah, we're gonna provide all the documentation to the No BS to you guys, No BS and No BS, and they keep saying that in meetings, and I laugh every time.
That's awesome. All right, friends, we are at our time. Yeah, what's up?
I had a quick question about this, and maybe Agnieszka can, but you know, in that circumstance where you're doing a newsletter and all those people that were in that thing, as far as clientele is concerned, as a copywriter, is that an opportunity for you when you're working with one particular client and they're collaborating with other people and being able to like connect with those people and like when they get, you know, their course, you know, because each of those people probably have their own email list, right? So like creating that circumstance where you're like displaying your copywriting skills to those 5 or 10 people that are putting courses out there, is that not an opportunity for you guys to demonstrate your abilities to more clients?
I'm not sure if you're talking about collaboration, like affiliate marketing, where like, for example, the yoga lady sends out emails for other people who are providing services in the community. If that was like, say the yoga lady had, like there was next door, there was an event that could be relevant to the yoga people. I would never include that in a newsletter unless maybe as a footnote, or as something, a slight mention. I would do a dedicated email and say, hey, our friends at the studio next door, they're doing this super cool event. If you guys are interested, go there. But I would never do a newsletter of affiliate events because people get really turned off by that. If you're helping out a friend is a different thing than going, oh, this friend's doing this and this friend, that's an affiliate marketing, and you're just not doing one-off emails.
No, so what I'm saying though is that like if each of those people they have their own email list and they're coming in for this particular event and they get to witness like the skill set that you're delivering, creating that circumstance where like that client can like, you know, be a testimonial for you for those other people that they're talking to their particular audience. So to me, I'm just saying is that's an opportunity where it seems to me like growing your client base is very simple in that opportunity there, or at least it has the opportunity to be, right?
Do you need more clients, Kara?
Me? No, I'm good.
No, I'm good. Assigned to giant clients. I have no space.
Well, as
for
far as copywriting is concerned,
Yeah.
though, if you're doing that, if you're starting out the business and you're getting into like newsletters and stuff, and you're talking to a lot of people, and that, like that's a teaching example where, their engagement goes up, and you say, hey, see, when
Oh, yeah.
you're talking to this particular audience and then demonstrating that to all those other people that they may not have that kind of, that
Well,
kind of
if
copy.
you're, because if you're, especially, starting out, but, if you're any stage of a copywriter, being able to build your portfolio around the performance of these emails. So you can say, I wrote these awesome newsletters or promotional emails, and look at all of those clicks, and look at all, and, it's best, obviously, if you can tie it to revenue. If you can say, wow, from this one email, they got so many signups. I was able to show that with some of the emails I was showing as examples earlier, were tied specifically to revenue. So that's always great for building your copywriter portfolio, is being able to show the data and show the stats, so that you can show other people that with proof that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then having that testimonial of that particular client for those other people, because like a lot of those cases, like, if they're doing courses on a regular basis, and they just happen to be in Seattle or wherever they're at for that particular month or week, and that's the one that they've got, 50 people at, where they usually get like 5,
Mhm.
that this is the opportunity to kind of sell your wares to those folks as well, I think.
Definitely. Definitely.
I just realized I have something important to say before we end this meeting. It's
Okay.
really happy birthday, Jerry, and happy birthday, Michael.
Aw,
Oh, thank you.
what? Happy birthday, friends.
It's your birthday, Michael. Happy birthday.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, his birthday. is today.
Or whenever
No way.
are you on the
Happy
13th?
birthday.
Yes.
Same day, because he is in Japan and you're not. So it's on the 13th, both of you, right?
Oh, no kidding, man. You're on the 13th too? Wow. Sweet.
That's
We're almost like
amazing.
brothers now.
You and Mark Passio. No, actually.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's exciting.
All right. Well, thank you guys. I gotta go eat breakfast and get
Yep.
my day started. But thanks so much for all the feedback, and good to see everyone.
Good
Great.
to hear you
You
too.
too.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.